Week 1, we have BYU against Utah in 2019. It's a home game for BYU. And so first play of the game here, we have 2 wide receivers to the boundary. So 1 and 2 to the boundary, the short side of the field. And then we have a tight end and a wide receiver split out wide here at the bottom of the screen to the field, the wide side. And some of these plays, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in the X's and O's breakdowns than others. Some is just going to be pointing out footwork, things of that nature. But to kind of start off here, I'll go a little bit deeper in the X's and O's and kind of put forth my terminology. Not that it's anything special. I try to keep it as simple as possible. But here, for example, for BYU, they have what I'm going to call the formation is going to be gun ace right. And ace right because the tight end here is to the right. But for these purposes, 2 wide receivers to the boundary, a tight end, and a wide receiver to the other side of the field. That's going to be ace right. And obviously we tag it with the gun because Zach is in the shotgun. And so actually at the pre-snap here, the number 2 to the boundary is going to motion to the field, right? And so a lot of the times everybody knows, motion. Let's get an indicator of what's going on the defensive side of the football, because initially we had middle of the field closed here with 1 high safety. We have 2 corners that are pressed against our outside receiver, so we're thinking some kind of man coverage here. But as we motion that number 2, what winds up happening, now Zach has the snap here, that strong safety that was originally at the top of the screen, he is going to roll down to that number 2 who is motioning to the field, and our free safety is going to roll over to the top to be our middle of the field player. So we have middle of the field closed, we have man coverage, and what we're looking at here is this tight end. This tight end is going to run an over route, right? And what you're going to hear a lot from me for Zach is ball placement, right? We want to make sure the ball is placed properly. It may be a little bit different than accurate. Accurate can have maybe a wider range to me, but ball placement it's got to be in one spot and one spot only. Unfortunately, this turns out to be a drop, but I want you guys to see how Zach places this football and with the velocity that he does so. And listen, a lot of people might say, hey, listen, in 2020, great protection, open receivers, it's not always going to be like that at the next level. And they're right. But we have a lot of examples here of Zach trying to throw into tight windows. And this right here is a tight window. This is great coverage by this DB here. And Zach is able to put it right high and right outside where this DB stands no chance to break it up. It gives his taller tight end, a mismatch in size here, the ability to go up and get the football. And unfortunately he drops it. We'll see it from the back end here. But I want you guys to kind of notice the velocity that this ball comes out with and then where it's placed. And there's kind of a little mix up here. Running back runs over the top of Zach. I think Zach thinks he's going to run underneath, so they kind of collide there. But what we're looking at is this tight end. We got a little bit of grab of the jersey there. But overall, this is pretty good coverage. That's, in the NFL, that's just probably about what it's going to be. But it's going to be considered open. So you got to place the ball where it needs to be. And Zach is looking right at him, and he places this football right where it needs to be, right on the hands. And unfortunately, we got a drop by that tight end on the first play of the game. Not able to move the sticks on the first play of the game, create some momentum, but high and away, good velocity, good ball placement by Zach Wilson, and you move on. And so the next play is a run play. Wasn't going to show you. So here we have 3rd and 7, right? So same drive. And now we're looking to convert on, an opportunity here that we initially, and I keep saying we like I'm playing for BYU, but initially that BYU missed on. And so this is the importance. This is 3rd down, right? This is why I wanted to provide you guys context, right? Sometimes you see 30-second clips, you see a minute clip, you see 2-minute clips. And you don't know what the down and distance is. You don't know at what point in the game you're at. It's, in my opinion, context of the game matters. And here, so I want to know, right? Because on Sundays, we all end up finding out at the end of the game, okay, what was the 3rd down conversion rate like for each team, right? That might be a nice little indicator of who might end up winning that football game. And so third down, super important here for Zach Wilson and the football team, the offense as a whole. And so what we have here is a gun doubles formation, right? So gun doubles would be the formation name, in my opinion here. We have 2 wide receivers to the top of the screen in the boundary, and we have 2 wide receivers split out wide here to the field. Zach is in the gun. And so we actually have 1 safety, so middle of the field closed, man coverage, and let's check again, right, the levels of the defensive backs. Levels of the defensive backs here. On to the field, we have 2 guys playing press. I don't like that for the defense. That's fine. You can end up running into some kind of pick play here and get kind of caught up as a defensive back. So sometimes you'll see guys on different levels. And the route concept to the top of the screen, and number 1 here, the outside receiver, I'm not sure if he actually ran the wrong route. I'm not sure. He is being pressed. So when you're pressed, if you have some kind of a short route, sometimes you will take it vertical. But being that the number 2 here, the tight end, I believe he's a tight end. I don't know BYU's personnel that way, but he also goes vertical, and he's going to end up with an outside release because this DB is actually going to drop down. You see how these 2 defensive backs are on different levels than these 2 at the field? He's preventing himself from being on that same level in such a condensed side of the field. And what ends up happening, they both run vertical. Again, this is super kind of condensed here, but Zach Wilson wants this tight end, right? He's got a size mismatch against this DB, so he needs to place the ball in a spot where, okay, it's going to be high and away because right now at this point in time, this DB is on top of the route. Right. And so this is what we want to do. What do we want to throw here? We want to throw that back shoulder throw. We want it on the outside shoulder, and we want it high and away, giving this DB no chance at all. His back is turned. He's in a man turn. So when you're in a man turn, your back is turned to the quarterback. And so he can't see a dang thing other than the receiver. The receiver is going to give him his keys of when he needs to turn around, when he needs to put his hand in between the wide receiver's hands, in between the tight end's hands. And that's why the back shoulder is so effective, because as the receiver, as the tight end, his job is to react as late as possible to it. If the later he reacts, the less amount of time this DB has to also react. And Zach does a great job with this throw here. They're going to end up converting. Tight end makes up for the drop on the first play. And from the back end, you'll get a better idea. But here you can see it's super condensed. I don't know if the number 1 was running the correct route. I don't know if he was supposed to just run a little hitch, a little curl, maybe a little out, just to get the heck out of the way so that they can get that vertical out to the sideline there. But it works out for them. But I want to see Zach's placement here. 1, 2, 3. He knows where he's going. Quick little hitch. And the ball comes out. And it's perfect right there. Perfect. And number 5 here, it kind of worries me. If he was in his own turn, he might be able to see that, recognize it, diagnose it, and break it up. But unfortunately for him, he's not. And so Zach Wilson is able to execute that back shoulder throw really nicely, and 89 makes up for that drop on the first drive. And now we're in enemy territory, right? Now BYU is in enemy territory, and it is 4th and 4. And BYU is going to bring out the offense to go for it. And so now it's just gun empty. They're deciding they don't want to play field position. That's fine. You're at home. It's week 1 of the season. Get the juices flowing. It's 4 yards. Maybe we can get something going here. You've already had a nice little bit of a drive. But here, this is where the ball placement was no good by Zach Wilson. It wasn't accurate. Ball placement was bad. But all we're going to focus on up here is the number 1 to the top of the screen. And he just has a vertical route, press man coverage. Zach is going to pick on him there. And what Zach winds up doing is he's going to wind up throwing this ball out of bounds. And you just can't throw this ball out of bounds on 4th down. There's no harm if you miss inside here. You don't want to miss inside on any vertical route. But you also don't want to, on 4th down, just essentially punt the ball away, because this receiver has 0 chance to end up making a play. If it gets picked off, if the DB decides that he's actually going to catch it, then that's fine. It's actually better than an incomplete pass because of field position. And so these kind of passes here on fourth down, they have to be put in play for your receiver to be able to make a play. If he doesn't make the play, that's okay. You gave him a chance. But the ball placement here, way too far out of bounds. Turnover on downs, and BYU is going to go down. Utah is going to go down, and they're going to kick a field goal. And so you're down 3-0 now. It's still the first quarter, still early in the game. But here, all right, so we got what we got here is a trips right open. So gun, trips right, 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then we have open. So the open tag is the fact that this guy on the other side, the wide receiver or tight end on the opposite side of the field to the boundary here, is not on the end of the line of scrimmage. He is split out wide, so that's why it's open. So this is gun, trips right, open. That would be the call in the formation. In the huddle, that would be the call for the formation in the huddle. And now here, what I like what Zach does is he's reading the alignment of the DBs. Again, middle of the field closed, one safety. We have press coverage at the bottom of the screen here, and then we also have press coverage by the slot on the number 3. And then kind of back to that levels aspect that I was talking about a couple plays earlier. This DB here, he is about 6 or 7 yards away from the number 2 in order to kind of create a congestion of him also being up close on the line of scrimmage. And so what Zach is going to notice here, he's going to kind of pick on this DB, and his tight end to the boundary has a quick slant. And now right before the snap here, this DB is playing nearly 9 yards off the ball, right? And so what does that do for us? If we got that quick slant, he's got no chance to break on this if we get it out as soon as possible. So quick slant here, get the ball out as soon as possible, and that's exactly what Zach is going to do. It's man coverage, and the ball is out as he turns his head. Good anticipation. This DB is still essentially backpedaling. This is a ton of separation, and we have all this vacant space in the zone here. And puts it right on the money. Tight end's got to get upfield there because he does not get the first down on 2nd and 8. It ends up being 3rd and 1. But you can see from here how quick Zach's release is as well. That's something that people talked about in 2020. Just a super quick release, and he gets it done. Boom. Ball's out. He knows where he's going from the start of it. And I really like the release. And I also like the recognition for him to say, okay, I got that quick slant on the left. I got a DB playing 9 yards off. If I get this shotgun snap and I just let it go, no wasted time, no wasted motion, really good stuff. Like I said, now tight end didn't get upfield, so we got 3rd and 1, which ends up turning into 3rd and 6 because we got a penalty from BYU. So penalties, no good, obviously. And what BYU is going to end up running here, so they're going to be in a trips formation, right? So no open because we got that tight end on the line of scrimmage, and they're going to run a mesh concept here. But what's going to happen, and what happens with Zach Wilson here, it's kind of a little bit of his sneaky athleticism. It's not a Justin Fields level athleticism, but it's pretty dang good. And you don't really realize he has it until you kind of see plays like this. But unfortunately, this play is not going to count because this left guard is going to get beat like a drum. And he's going to wind up tackling this defensive tackle here. So you can see you got your eyes on there. Nothing open, and he's just going to tackle him. The left guard's going to tackle him. Zach is getting out. Nothing's open here in the mesh concept. Everything's pretty well blanketed, pretty well covered. It's a great job by Utah. And boom, Zach kind of hits the edge, and he gets out, and he gets a first down there. But unfortunately, the play comes back, and BYU is forced to punt the ball away. But again, no harm, no foul. We get the ball. BYU gets the ball back, 3-0. 1 minute left in the first quarter, and what we're gonna have here. What I really like, again, this is another kind of anticipation throw. Not so much in terms of seeing it open, but more so getting the ball out as fast as possible. We have a lot of plays here where Zach is on the left hash and he's throwing to the opposite sideline. Now, the hash marks in college are a lot wider than they are in the NFL. And so what that does is it creates a pretty long throw that you have to really have good placement. Again, ball placement, key. I'm going to mention it 1,000 times. And you have to have that velocity to get it out there, right? Because if you float this ball, somebody's taking it 6. There's no other way about it. If you miss on these out routes to the sideline, DB cuts in front and he's got daylight and you're probably not going to be able to catch him. And so what we have here, it's going to be a stacked alignment to the field. We got 2 wide receivers out here. Now this wide receiver, I'll call him the number 2. He's just behind. I'll use him as the number 1. So the receiver behind him, use him as the number 2. And initially, which is kind of fun because BYU puts their tight end in motion and actually a DB follows the tight end, which is usually an indication that there's some kind of man coverage going on. But in my opinion, this winds up being cover 2. And so in the cover 2 here, this corner's responsibility really is the flat. But because the number 1 actually winds up going vertical, this cornerback here, he's going to continue vertical. And that kind of leaves this out route by the number 1 perfectly open here for Zach to hit kind of right away. And I'm going to try to capture when he lets this ball go in relation to where the wide receiver is, right? So he lets it go, boom. I mean, he's already started his motion. Wide receiver's just turned his head. This DB has no chance. He's too deep. And nobody gets to the flat, and it's just a great job by Zach to get this ball nearly outside the numbers from the left hash to the outside right-hand side numbers. And you're kind of moving the chains. Yeah, maybe you wanted to see a little bit outside, let them go up. But overall, you're kind of seeing that arm strength that you saw in 2020 here as well. It's kind of hidden in here. It doesn't always show up, but you can see why he kind of had the year that he did in terms of showing off that arm talent. He just improved it from kind of what we're seeing here. But I like the quick decision. He recognizes a lot the open spot in the field. He kind of is really good at reading the leverage of the defensive backs and saying, okay, I got these quick routes. The quick game, it's really good. It matches well. His release is so dang fast that he doesn't really, once he gets that ball off the gun, he knows where he's going. The ball's out, and it gives his guys a chance to go and make a play with it. And so, like I said, you're going to see some good, some bad, and some really bad. And you saw the initial kind of bad was not giving your receiver a chance on 4th down. And so here, this is really bad. And it's 1st and 10, right? I want to provide you guys the context. It's 1st and 10. They're in the red zone, down 3-0, right? So you're in this game. You got a chance to either take the lead or at least tie it up, but you can't turn the ball over, and he doesn't turn the ball over here, even though it should have been a pick. And so they're going to have what I'm going to call gun bunch left open. So the bunch is 3 receivers or a tight end or 3 eligible receivers in the bunch, tight, close together in their formation, and then a wide receiver out wide. Now, what I thought Zach was going to do when I first watched this play, given kind of how he notices man coverages, when you got the press corner and I got a vertical route, I'm going to take that shot. I was surprised he wasn't going to go down to this number 1 to the boundary over up top. We got the safety, one safety kind of lined up middle of the field, but he's shaded towards that bunch side of the field. And so we really could get one-on-one here with this wide receiver on this DB. But Zach is going to go to the boundary, and so the point man in the bunch is always is the lead man in the bunch. I'm going to call him the point man. He's going to run an over route, so he's going to go over to the field. The number 1 is going to run an in, and then the number 3 is going to run straight to the flat. And so Zach actually wants this over route, and it's going to be covered. He's just not going to be open. He still wants it here, and he's actually going to come to the number 2 on the in, that's not going to be there either. So my thought process, and I could be wrong, I'm not in the huddle, I'm not in the quarterback room, would be if you're going to go one, come back left to the number 2. If that's not there, come down to the number 3, or if you got pressure, get the heck up out of there, make the ball a souvenir. It's first and 10 in the red zone. Don't mess it up. Keep the ball, live to see another down, right? Can't go broke, taking a profit. And so what he does is he notices that the over is not open. And so he comes to the number 2 in the in. He doesn't like that either. That's not open. And so instead of coming down to the number 3, who's wide open, and he could get it to him essentially right now and give him a one-on-one with this DB. Now the ball would have to be thrown outside and with velocity so that DB can't cut in front, because again, that's a house call. But what he does instead of coming down to the number 3 or just running around and throwing it away is he goes back to the number 1 and he go to the point man and the over, and it's just too late. He can't come back there. The tight end's a little bit confused. You're going to see him actually go upfield because he notices Zach is going to now go a little bit to the right. He's going to roll right. And so he's just about headed upfield, and Zach is going to throw it now. So he's throwing this now. That's the football. This tight end is running straight upfield. He has no idea that the ball was thrown. This DB is seeing it, right? He's got his eye into the backfield here. And this ball is just thrown kind of up for grabs right here. This should be a pick. And you're losing points in the red zone on the first play in the red zone. And the DB's pissed off. He should be. And we're going to see it from the back end here. So the point man is the tight end. He's running the over. And he's basically, he's pretty much guarded the whole time. Decent coverage. Again, if you were to throw it now, it'd have to be this high and outside like he did on that first play, but doesn't like it. And then he comes back and he just kind of lets it go, and he just kind of flounders it down to the field. I don't know if he tried to throw this in the dirt, but if he did, pretty dangerous decision there. So not good. Listen, if it's not there once, if you come back to it, probably not going to be there again, especially if you're just kind of still hanging in the pocket. If he decided to roll out and maybe try to find him when the tight end or receiver tries to get themselves open, different story. But there, listen, just roll out, keep rolling. If nothing's there, make it a souvenir and live to see 2nd and 10 from the red zone. And so Zach sees 2nd and 10. It's a run. They gain 2 yards. And now it's 3rd and 8 on the 15, same drive. And here, again, really good anticipation. So what do we have here? We have gun, trips left, open. That's our formation call. And I'm going to focus here on the number 2 because, like I said, Zach, this game especially, and he does it a lot more too, right? He's reading alignments. He's reading the coverage. He's reading the leverage. Okay, when I got that quick pass, who's given the cushion to my guy so that I can get the ball out ASAP? We can put some yards up and we can get closer to that first down marker. And for here, it's this number 2 receiver. The number 3 is going to be bracketed by this tight end, by this linebacker and this safety. And so this slot defender, this cornerback, I'll just call him a cornerback, DB, has this number 2 in man coverage. And all it is here, it's 3rd and 8, and he's just going to have a 5 to 6 yard hitch, try to get closer to that first down marker, maybe stretch out and make the play. Make it a more manageable situation where we saw BYU go for it on 4th and 4, the first drive of the game. If they get 4th and 1 here, maybe they try to bring in some of the big boys and they try to get a first down. But that's the idea of it, and Zach knows it. It's I got to get the ball out ASAP, and he does it about as perfect as you can get it. And it's a 5 yard hitch. That ball is out of his hand, and this guy hasn't even finished his route yet. He's still not turned around. He's starting to turn his head around. It gets on him hot, and unfortunately, it hits him right in the face mask. He does not catch it. Hits him right in the face, and It's now 4th and 8. You have to kick the field goal there. If he catches this and ends up where he is, he's probably just about short of a yard. They might go for this, but really good job by Zach here. It's balls out quick, quick release on him before he can even turn around. That ball's in the air. This way, when he turns around, ball's there, get back upfield, and the DB, no chance. I really like that aspect of what Zach has shown in this game so far in terms of his ability to diagnose, get the ball out quick, gain yards, and move forward towards the chains. Be in the positive, which is something we haven't really seen a lot from the Jets. So, sorry for that little quick thing there, but that's just a fact. And so BYU is going to kick a field goal. And we're going to be 3-3, and we're going to be at the 50. We're kind of at the start of the second quarter here. And we're going to end up in a gun doubles. Gun doubles, right? Shotgun formation, 2 wide receivers, 2 wide receivers. And we are left hash, right? Again, left hash, arm strength, velocity, ball placement. We're going to end up with a cover 3 by the defense. So this DB has a deep third. This safety has a deep third, the middle third. And then this DB, this cornerback, has the other deep third. And so, again, Zach realizes, all right, what do I got here? He's got an out by the number 1 to the field. And this DB is acting like he's playing press. He's not at the snap here. He's going to bail. So he's going to bail into a zone turn, and he's going to try to get deep. And what Zach does here is he lets this ball go right about now. He's letting it go. He's in his motion. He's in his throwing motion. And this DB, this wide receiver has not even put his foot in the ground yet to go into his out route. And it's perfect because this corner, he's in a zone turn. His eyes are right on Zach, which gives him the ability to be able to break faster on the ball. He's able to see it as soon as it happens and break faster. So where does this ball need to be? High, outside, and on a line drive to get it there ASAP. And that's exactly what Zach does. Look where this ball is. I mean, that's right on the money. This DB can't get there fast enough, can't get there at all, no chance. And we're right on the money here. Left hash to right sideline, high and outside, perfect velocity, just an excellent job. You can't actually execute and throw this ball any better than Zach just did it. And again, 2019 here. So you're seeing glimpse of, listen, if this guy got any better, he was going to be pretty special as he continued to grow. And so I love this play here. I think it's a great throw and really just shows you what Zach can do with that arm talent and what he might continue to grow into as he starts his NFL career. But it's just boom, right on the line, outside, and and we're moving along. Great throw, quick decision. Really impressive by Zach there. Okay. And so here is where the wheels fall off. We're 3-3 here. We're at the 50-yard line. I'm sorry, we're not at the 50-yard line anymore. We're at about the 42. So we're at the 42-yard line, and this is going to be a pick 6. And it's a play where Zach has to understand, just hang on to it. If you got someone dangling off your feet, just tuck the ball and get sacked. In that situation, that is a positive play, right? Don't try to force something. And I can understand what he was trying to do. But here we got gun doubles. We're going to end up motioning this tight end to the boundary. And we're going to have we're going to have a vertical route. So 2 vertical routes to the field. We're going to have an over by this tight end. I'm sorry. We're going to have a wheel and then an over on this side here to the boundary. And then the running back in the flat. And so what happens here is Zach gets pressured. There's nothing open. Pretty good job here by BYU to blanket in their coverage. And Zach is looking to get out as he feels pressure coming off the edge. And right about this moment here, I think Zach thinks he can float this over this linebacker and get it to his running back, who's got a boatload of space. So I can understand it from that perspective. But what happens is he's got a defender right on his tail, and he's going to take Zach down right as Zach decides he's going to let this go. Zach can't get enough on it, and it is taken to the house. Pick 6. Really tough play there to kind of swallow, because you had him. It's 3-3. You're playing a competitive game, and this is kind of the first indication of, all right, Utah is going to end up with some momentum here. But you guys can see what I'm talking about here, as Zach is really trying. At this point in time, you're almost, you're headed towards the ground here. Just tuck it right there. Get sacked. Move on. If you punt, it's better than what winds up being here. And he throws it directly to this linebacker, who takes it back to the house. So, but listen, I said the wheels started to fall off there because I know what happens the rest of the way, and most of you might also. But that was the first indication there. Listen, and don't be reckless with the football in a close game. If you take a sack there, listen, maybe there's some boos and some disappointments, but a lot less boos and disappointments than what the result wound up being. And so, okay, listen, adversity strikes, right? You're the quarterback. Guys are looking at you. You just threw the pick 6. I'm sure the sideline is kind of encouraging everyone. You got to be encouraging guys as well. It's only 9-3, right? We're still really early in the game.
For the rest of this 2-hour, 62-play video of Zach Wilson's 2019 season, click the link in the description and become a subscriber today.